I've been on a little bit of a hero kick, so here we are. Yo, what's up, boys and girls? It's Swolelax here, and I'm back at it again with the video. Something a little bit different. Today, we're going to talk about Elemental Hero Phoenix Enforcer. You may know Elemental Hero Phoenix Enforcers from the second season of the GX series, where Aster Phoenix fused together Elemental Hero Avion and Burstinatrix to not form Elemental Hero Flame Wingman, as everyone thought, but instead, Elemental Hero Phoenix Enforcer. Taking a look at this card, it is a level 6 Fire Warrior Fusion Effect Monster that is a fusion between Elemental Hero Avion and Elemental Hero Burstinatrix. This card must be fusion summoned and cannot be special summoned by other ways. This card cannot be destroyed by battle. It's hard to talk about Phoenix Enforcer without comparing it to its counterpart, Elemental Hero Flame Wingman. Elemental Hero Flame Wingman and Elemental Hero Phoenix Enforcer are essentially just different sides to the same coin, both with similar stats and both boasting similar designs. I personally like Elemental Hero Phoenix Enforcer design just a little bit better. I will say, however, the dragon on the hand is a hard beat. Both these cards are super sick looking, which is what you gotta take away from that. What I really liked about this card's design is that it was Konami's way of experimenting a little bit with the fusion monsters of that era. These cards, and you have other different instances, you have the same monsters coming together to make different fusions. It's pretty neat, but how good is Elemental Hero Phoenix Enforcer? Well, technically speaking, nowadays in the current climate of Yu-Gi-Oh, none of the Elemental Hero Omni fusions are that good, except for a few like Absolute Zero and the Shining, which are more utility based. Cards like Phoenix Enforcer, Flame Wingman, and a couple other ones that we'll talk about in a second have all kind of just been power crept out of the game. We're actually gonna take a look back and see the different scenarios this card would have been in back in the day. In addition to that, we're gonna compare it to its other counterpart, Elemental Hero Flame Wingman. Now, before comparing the two, let's go ahead and talk about Flame Wingman for just 1 second and look over its card. Elemental Hero Flame Wingman is a level 6 Wind Warrior Fusion Effect Monster that is a fusion between Elemental Hero Avion and Elemental Hero Burstinatrix. This card must be fusion summoned and cannot be special summoned by other ways. When this card destroys a monster by battle and sends it to the graveyard, inflict damage to your opponent equal to the attack of the destroyed monster in the graveyard. Now, looking at the two side by side, it's actually pretty clear who the winner is. Sure, Phoenix Enforcer is really cool looking, has a nice battle effect where it cannot be destroyed, however, nothing beats the original. Back in the day when these cards were out, the game was relatively slower, and if you're able to use these cards in battle and successfully destroy a monster, personally, I would rather deal extra damage to my opponent via Flame Wingman. Phoenix Enforcer is cool and all, having 2100 attack, not being destroyed by battle, so you'd have to be destroyed by card effects or other means, but with 2100 attack, this card is still a pretty beefy boy. So not being destroyed by battle in a lot of cases wasn't necessarily an issue. Granted, this is also in certain matchups and if the deck was built correctly, but in the scenario theoretically in later game when these two cards would destroy a monster, I would personally rather take that burning damage that you would do with Flame Wingman. I get with the effects like Skyscraper, it could potentially be a 3100 beater, but so could Flame Wingman, and Flame Wingman could also then do damage to your opponent equal to the monster destroyed. That's 3100, gets destroyed, that's a free 2000 damage to your opponent. And not to bash the card too much, because I actually like it a lot, but theoretically speaking, if you were to build a deck around this type of fusion, you would probably want to go for Flame Wingman just for the extra damage. But wait a minute, Swolelax, you're forgetting about their shiny forms. Ah yes, their shiny form. If you guys do not know, when the Ace monster was not enough for Jaden Yuki or Aster Phoenix, you could fuse these cards together with Elemental Hero Sparkman to get their shining versions. The first and original one being Elemental Hero Shining Flare Wingman. This card also joins the sick card club, by the way. Elemental Hero Shining Flare Wingman is a level 8 Light Warrior Fusion Effect Monster. There's a fusion between Elemental Hero Flame Wingman and Elemental Hero Sparkman. This card must be fusion summoned and cannot be special summoned by other ways. This card gains 300 attack for each Elemental Hero card in your graveyard. When this card destroys a monster by battle and sends it to the graveyard, inflict damage to your opponent equal to the attack of the destroyed monster in the graveyard. This card does spot a nice and strong 2500 attack points and 2100 defense points. You could technically summon this by other ways by having something like Fusion Substitute or King of the Swamp and infuse that with Sparkman instead of Flame Wingman to get Flare Wingman out on the board. That would automatically transform it into a 2800 monster that has the same effect as Flame Wingman whenever it destroys a monster. And being 2800 plus back in the day, it could probably go over most things. Even nowadays, 2100 is nothing to scoff at, and you could easily get this card to 3100, so it's pretty sick. Now let's compare that to its darker, edgier, I would potentially even say cooler looking card, Elemental Hero Shining Phoenix Enforcer. Elemental Hero Shining Phoenix Enforcer is a level 8 Fire Warrior Fusion Effect Monster. This card is a fusion between Elemental Hero Phoenix Enforcer and Elemental Hero Sharkman? I almost said Sharkman. Wow. I'll make sure to cut that out. Must be fusion summoned and combat special summoned by other ways. This card gains 300 attack for each elemental hero in the graveyard. This card cannot be destroyed by battle. Having the same stats and the same boosting effect as Shining Flare Wingman does come in handy quite a bit, and I will say in this case, the not being destroyed by battle is completely useless. A card that is potentially 2800 plus not being destroyed by battle is kind of ridiculous. You'd have to destroy this card by card effects, and because not a lot of things are getting over this card. Add that onto the fact that if this is later game and you have a lot of things stacked up in your graveyard, this thing can have massive damage. So despite this card joining the sick card club as well, I have to give this one to Elemental Hero Shining Flare Wingman. These cards are both really sick in their own way, however, it's really just personal preference on which one you want to run. Now I will say we're going to talk about just one more card inside this fusion family that is actually better, surprisingly, than all of these cards. Unfortunately, it doesn't have a Shining form, but that's right, if you saw this coming, we're gonna be talking about Evil Hero Inferno Wing. This card is actually pretty cool and is one of my favorite fusions of the Evil Heroes. Evil Hero Inferno Wing is level 6 Fire Fiend fusion effect monster that is a fusion between Elemental Hero Avian and Elemental Hero Bristinatrix. Shocker. This card must be fusion summoned with Dark Fusion and cannot be special summoned by other ways. If this card attacks a defense position monster, inflict piercing battle damage to your opponent. When this card destroys a monster by battle and sends it to the graveyard, inflict damage to your opponent equal to either the attack or defense, whichever is higher, of the destroyed monster in the graveyard. This card has 2100 attack and 1200 defense. What? I know, I'm shocked too. I get that the lack of support kind of killed the Evil Heroes overall, but I will say they did improve on the Elemental Hero Flame Wingman fusion family. Evil Hero Inferno Wing is actually pretty neat for a few reasons. Number one, its card art and design. Obviously is a darker, edgier fusion of Elemental Hero Avian and Bristinatrix. What I like about this card is that it takes more inspiration from Bristinatrix in terms of its body and card design, but still sports the giant wings of Avian. In addition to that, its effects are also pretty nutty. Not only do you get piercing damage on this card, doing extra damage to defense point monsters, but let's just take an example to break down that second effect. Similar to Elemental Hero Flame Wingman and Flare Wingman, when this card destroys a monster by battle, it can inflict damage to the opponent equal to either the attack or defense points of a monster. Now those two cards only deal damage of the attack points, so let's just take for example Clayman. If Flare Wingman or Flame Wingman were to destroy Clayman by battle when it's in defense position, it would only deal 800 damage to the opponent, whereas Inferno Wing would do 2000 because the defense points are higher. This is kind of one of those, well, yeah, duh, that's what the card says. But to me, it's really cool because you have all these cards inside of the same, let's just say, Avian and Bristinatrix fusion family, and then Inferno Wing, which is arguably inside of the worst archetype inside of the hero genre, surprisingly so has the better effects with piercing and the burn damage. I don't know, to me it's kind of neat, but I don't know, maybe that's just me. What do you guys think of Phoenix Enforcer in the comments down below? What do you guys think of Flame Wingman, Flare Wingman, Shining Phoenix Enforcer, Evil Hero Inferno Wing? Let me know in the comments down below, and also what other heroes that you guys would like me to cover in this How Good Was series. If you like this video, make sure to leave a like. If you want to see more, please subscribe. I got more videos coming in the pipeline, so stay tuned for that if you want to. But yeah, that's all I gotta say. Peace out.